measure, the IC multiplier, where you multiply the human capital with good organizational systems, which I will talk about this afternoon, and then you navigate into the future. The dragomans, or the knowledge navigators. So as I know that Professor Nonaka was here a couple of months ago, he is starting to talk about this enlarged perspective. He calls it even the frenetic approach, but it is to move from the asset view to the process view. It is to move from the measurement to the futurizing. It is to move from the culture to the social dimension. So from asset to process, from measuring and metrics to the futurizing into the future, and also to nourish it by good context. And the context, to finish off with some slides on the context of cities, intellectual capital of cities. The context is what you have around the enterprise and yourself. And therefore, this subject area becomes more and more important. Knowledge cities. Is Bangkok a knowledge city? What does it take for Bangkok to be transformed into a knowledge city? You are on your way, I would say, with some very good approaches. But you have to leverage off much more of your intangibles. Therefore, there is more and more attention to it. This is one of the companies working with it, Price Waterhouse, Cities of the Future. They are applying some of these methodologies that I described. They have even recruited some of my students. But it is the global competition combined with local leadership. And this is the city where I'm living right now, the knowledge capital of Stockholm. And to give you a little teaser, capital is not only financial capital. Capital is actually the head value. So therefore, the definition of intellectual capital is head value of your nation, head value of your enterprise, head value of your family. And then if you put intellectual in front of it, it's derived insights of future value creation. Derived insights of future value creation. And it looks like the head value of future value creation is in the networks. And it's extremely visible when you think about cities. So the city is much more than a shopping plaza. It's much more than a shopping center. It's a network on different levels. And you can see city networks, you can see topographical networks, you can see tree networks, you can see neural networks, and protein networks, and synaptic networks. So how's your hippocampus working right now? That is the synaptic networks, actually. So therefore, we need much more neuroscientists into city planning as well as enterprises, and we need it for social innovation. And this is the same approach with the boxes of human capital and the organizational capital, to leverage off the social capital of Thailand with innovation approaches and good process for value creation. And there are a number of such innovation zones emerging around the world right now. So which one will be illustrated on this list next time I'm coming to Thailand? What area of Thailand is the innovation zone? What innovation zones do you have in mind for nourishing the future? I can give you an illustration of an innovation zone in Sweden. Up in the northern part of Sweden, they are building ice hotels. They found out that the two major assets in that place is coldness, minus 30, 40 degrees, and water. And the water is freezing. So can you use that frozen water in some clever way? Well, you build a hotel. And you develop new glasses, which is water-based, ice glasses, and then you pour some liquid in it, so you get a cold drink. It's very simple. And this hotel melts down every spring, and it's rebuilt during the fall into a new hotel. So how do you develop a process so you can quickly rebuild the hotel? Well, you start to develop intellectual properties and patents for it. And this patent you export. So even Shanghai has now an ice bar, actually. based on the intellectual property from this innovation zone up in the northern part of Sweden. So what we are heading for is intelligent regions, leveraging off the uniqueness and the culture between the local society and the global opportunities. Of course, there are very few customers for the ICE hotel up in the northern part of Sweden. There's a lot of more customers in Shanghai. So you see how you connect the local culture with global opportunities. And another illustration, sorry, is Cyber, and I know that Mr. Chan will talk more about it. He has his office very close to Cyber. But this is an illustration how you build knowledge innovation zones. And I'm very impressed what they did in Malaysia, in Cyber. Another one is the Hong Kong Science and Technology Park, and Eric is close to that. And this is another intelligent region. And the city used to be an intelligent region. And this is an old map from Copenhagen. Copenhagen is short Danish for the harbor of shopping. The harbor of shopping. So the city used to be a harbor for shopping. Bangkok is a harbor for shopping today. You're building shopping centers. But you're also building knowledge harbors, new airports. And it might be that the new airport is much smarter than the old airport. So why should you then focus the old airport when you have a new airport? How could you instead upgrade the new airport into a knowledge harbor rather than recycling old shit? And therefore, the future is how you build knowledge innovation zones, knowledge harbors, not shopping centers. Because the unit price, as you saw in the metrics initially, the unit price of goods is decreasing on a global scale, which means that the value adding is less and less of products. It's in the people flow. So we are going from product business to people flow business. And that's why the migration of people becomes so important. There's a lot of recipes you can develop. And you can see how you develop a city as a knowledge tool. I wrote an article on that last year. And you can apply the same approach as they are doing in Germany for building value of enterprises into building value of cities. And this might be something for you, the future. And therefore, in October this year, there is going to be a Knowledge Cities Summit in Monterrey, Mexico. If you're interested, you can look at the website, and you're most welcome there to learn more about the future. But to summarize it very simply, it is to combine human capital and structural capital in a very simple approach. And it's called IC multiplier. Human capital multiplied by good structural capital. And that is the end. Thank you very much.